This is By The Wayside, and I'm your host, Jordan Middlebrook. On today's episode, we have host of Wednesday Night Reviews, Konrad writes, and also we're going to be looking back at some of the content creator spotlight series that happened here at the bar this past February. The bar here is Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. What else do we have? Oh, of course, we got our Omar recommends, so stick around because we're going to be talking about that. Welcome back to the next episode. I started this episode and I spilled my drink everywhere out of my mug. You know how I am with mugs. It's a Disney mug today. It's the best I could do because I'm going to get a mug for the show. And I know that you really like that idea. I wonder if I can get Omar here at Wayside Comics to get a branded mug, a Wayside branded mug. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. But as you might notice is that today's a little bit different. We're doing the show while the shop is actually open. That was the plan from the very beginning, so that if you're coming by while I'm making an episode and I have a guest, you're more than welcome to say hi. You're more than with this curly cue going on. You're more than welcome to walk around and act like nothing's happening. It's so awesome. It's such a cool concept, and I'm really glad that Omar, the owner of Wayside Comics and Cocktails, was on board with this idea. So in my opening chats, I like to talk about all sorts of weird things. I'm Jordan Middlebrook. And one thing that I wanted to think about was my favorite Adams. And I'm not talking Adams like Atoms. I'm talking about Adams, Adams, the people named Adam. Of course, there's Prince Adam, He-Man. But one thing you might see, I dropped something on the floor, is that I walk around with this notebook here. And this notebook, I like to keep a list, or it's just to remind me of things. So I thought I had to sit down. I was like, what is my favorite Adams? So I have a list. Adam Warlock. We know who Adam Warlock is, right? He's from Guardians of the Galaxy, in the comic books, Marvel Comics. Adam Brody, the actor Adam Brody. Adam Brody has been on the OC. I think he was on the OC. I don't know, but he's a really funny guy. He's been in Cop Out. He has a really funny guest appearance in New Girl. It's really funny. Adam West, of course, Batman. Adam Sandler, why not? Adam Shadowchild. If you're a fan of pop culture, then you might know who Adam Shadowchild is. He's a writer. He's a science fiction writer, and he is from the movie Paul. I think is Jeffrey? No, not Jeffrey Tambor. Does Jeffrey Tambor play him? Now I can't remember. But it comes down, so I went through this list of all these Adams that I really liked. My favorite Adams, of course, old friend of mine, Adam Kelly. I wonder where he is. Another Adam that I really like, Adam Emsley. And it came around as I was looking at my list, and I'm thinking of all these pop culture Adams that I really like, and one of them was Adam Maitland. And I thought, where the heck do I know that name from? Adam Maitland. The last name Maitland actually was kind of like Maitland is Beetlejuice. And I thought it was kind of poetic because I'm doing this episode today, a couple days after the teaser trailer for the Beetlejuice sequel came out. Adam Maitland is Alec Baldwin's character from Beetlejuice. So there's a bit of trivia for you in case anyone says, who's your favorite Adam? Other than Prince Adam, Masters Universe. He-Man. For those who need to know. Let's go into a little darker territory. Gatekeeping. Now, the reason why I say that is because last episode I really went off. I didn't go off, but I talked about how I don't like the Lord of the Rings movies. I find them boring. Some people on the internet were like, who is this guy? What kind of take on a movie is this? So I listened to a podcast called We Hate Movies. And they take movies that aren't necessarily the greatest, or they just take movies in general and they rib them hard. They talk about, they just make fun of them. It's a really funny podcast. I like movies. I like people making fun of movies. So I listen to it, of course. But one of the things that one of the hosts says is it's all right to like a movie. And I want you to remember here is that I'm a purveyor of just like what you like. Don't let other people tell you what to like and what not to like. And if someone says your idea is dumb, then just remind them that they're dumb. So here's another hot take for you. The Office. The Office is a great show. But Parks and Recreation is a funnier show. The creators of Parks and Recreation are also the creators of The Office. That's why they're very similar in tone and they're very similar in concept. But the thing is that Parks and Recreation got it right. So if you gave me a graph that said Parks and Rec is greater than The Office, Parks and Rec is greater than The Office. How do you like that? I think that's a very true and fair statement. What you might not know or know about me is I play board games. I'm not very good at board games. It's just like video games. I'm not very good at it. I know on the other episode I said Fortnite, and I got all excited because that's like the one game I play at least once a day, maybe an hour or two. I'm not very good at it, but I do it because I just like video games, and I get to be RoboCop running around this island. So that's pretty cool. But one of the games that I play is Spin Master and Simon. Come on, Simon? C-M-O-N. I'm going to get the logo. I'll put it right here. You tell me what it says. They make a game called Marvel United, and it's got minis, and you run around the board, and you fight bad guys from the Marvel Universe. They're little minis. Now, really, I should have planned ahead, and I should have brought some. But they're all at my house, so maybe I'll take some photos of them at my house. Because that's the beauty of an internet show. I can just kind of do what I want and then just figure it out later. But the people that paint these minis to be absolutely amazing is just amazing. I wish I had the patience to paint these things. My friend Chuck, he does it. He's really good. I wonder if I can get him to send me a couple photos. I just wanted to talk about how people that paint minis are amazing. They look into the fine details. They pre-plan these things, and they have the patience to work on a small scale. I think it's amazing. I literally wrote on my card, painting minis. With these opening chats, I want to keep them, smaller and succinct so that I don't lose you in the opening of the show. Today's episode is really, really fun. Like I had said at the top of the show, Konrad from Wednesday Night Reviews is here. So it's a host-on-host battle. That's going to be really exciting. And I'm going to be showing interviews from when here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. Every Saturday in February, there was the Creator Spotlight Series. So different creators from all different walks of life. They came into the shop, this space, and they were showing off their wares and all these amazing things. I was able to come in. I was able to talk to 95% of them. And I'll edit them down for you, and you can watch them. That's very exciting. I always love doing it. And at the end of the episode, Omar's going to be here. He's, like I say all the time, he's always here. He's back there. Always waving. Okay. Audience participation. And he'll be doing his Omar recommends, which I know everyone absolutely loves. Oh, so you know that I'm doing the show here on Main Street in Newmarket in Wayside Comics. At Wayside Comics and Cocktails. My brain went too fast. People are playing Pokemon Go as they walk by. This is a great spot for Pokemon Go. I play Pokemon Go, and I'll try and catch a couple of Pikachus every time I'm here. Do I catch them? No. Not very good at it. We came around full circle. So that's that segment. So when I go like this, that segment is done. That segment is done. Don't go anywhere because right after this, we're going to be sitting and talking with Konrad. So stick around. Welcome back to By The Wayside. I, of course, am your host, Jordan Middlebrook. And with me, first guest of the show. Stick around because we have more excitement later on in the show. Not that Konrad isn't exciting. We just have more excitement coming up in the show. It takes a host to host a host, all right? If you're looking for a unique view on comics, creatives, the world of pop culture in general, then Konrad Secord Writes is the man you want to see on Wednesday Night Reviews. Konrad, thank you very much for joining me today. I can't thank you enough for taking the time.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This is a first for me, so I'm very excited.
So the first, like being a guest.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I just took his guest cherry. That's on the internet, by the way.
Yes.
So no, I can't take that back.
No, you can't.
It's been a long time that we've actually had like a nice face-to-face. Acquaintances. We've seen each other a couple times here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails here in Newmarket, Ontario. So it's really awesome to have you sitting here with me, talking with me today, because I have questions about the show that you host, Wednesday Night Reviews. What helped you decide to start Wednesday Night Reviews?
I think the biggest thing that helped me decide to actually do the show was a love for indie comics and the people in it.
Yeah.
The first interview I ever did with anybody, I was with an organization called DCComicsNews.com.
Okay.
It's fan-run, fan-made. Somehow, someone at DC sends them the books every week. They review it, and I happened to be in Toronto one summer when Fan Expo was on, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to interview anyone?" And I was like, "Anyone." So they applied, and I got an interview with Greg Capullo.
Oh, that's cool.
At the time, also my biggest comic book artist in my mind, right? So I got to interview him, and that experience just did it.
Set you on the path.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was like, well, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And then I found my first guest, and it's a group of 7 comics, and it just went from there.
It's really cool because you have control over what you do. So it's kind of like this show here. I get to choose my guests. I get to choose the timeline in which we work. I do the editing. So it's nice that you want to do something fun. It's not like you can just go to a TV station and say, put me in this anchor seat. I'm going to talk about the news, but I don't really care. But I can talk about, Wolverine getting his bones from Dr. Cornelius or whatever, you know what I mean? Before I continue, I want to ask, did you turn your mic on before you put it on?
I do believe
you do. It's on. I saw the green light. We're good. It's all, this is
very normal. I do it about 8 times every time.
It happened on the last episode too. I'm just forgetful sometimes to double check.
No, it's that anxiety. You said it, and I was like, oh God, did I? But we're good.
So starting Wednesday Night Reviews, of course, why do you keep doing it? It's been a long time. You've been doing it for a long time, but why keep doing it?
Well, 6 years in, and I keep doing it because I love it. I'm addicted. The first couple that I did where I had interviews with people, I actually described it as once everything was over, the recording was done, I'd said my goodbyes to them. It took about 2 minutes for my anxiety and the anxiousness and the adrenaline to kick out.
Yeah.
And I felt genuinely high. Like it was just like, oh my God, I did that. That was so cool. They were so cool to talk to. And then it's never really gone away.
Yeah.
So I just keep going. But more importantly, not only do I enjoy it, I think the interview I actually did last night with the folks of TO Comics Anthology kind of highlights it, where a lot of it's just community. It's getting to meet yourself, Omar, the folks at Wayside.
He's back there somewhere.
Yeah, he's actually, I think you can see him right there.
Audience participation.
Yeah, all the different creators and getting to support them and making their books and sort of be on that journey with them. It's just awesome.
So speaking of guests, the journey, what's been your favorite interaction with a creator or a fan? We'll come back to it.
No, you know what? I've got 2. Creator part of it, I guess it's 2 creators, but the first creator is Greg Capullo. Nice. So the format of that interview was actually a phone call. So they were going to call me on an anonymous number. I would accept it. For me, I recorded it, and I got permission to do that. And then we did the phone call. And his wife, Jamie, had actually made the call. She goes, "Hi, this is Jamie. Capullo, is this Konrad?" And I went, "Yes, it is." She's like, "Wonderful. Here's Greg." And she handed him over the phone. And he goes, "Hey, Konrad, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Hello, Mr. Capullo. How are you?" And he goes, "Oh, it's just Greg." And it is. And that moment, all the anxiety I've had of my first interview ever with Greg Capullo just went, and he was just a guy.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I've thankfully been able to, whoever it is, no matter who big they are or how big they are, I guess, or what they've done, it's just a person who does a thing.
Yeah.
That would be one. And then the other one I had was at TCAF with Nicholas Friesen, who makes a wonderful comic series, who I was just wandering around doing my thing, and he came up to me. He found me And it was like, hey, you're Konrad for Wednesday Night Reviews. And I was like, yes. And he's like,
cool.
Here's my books. You've got to read them for me. And I'm like, done. And it was just wild.
Yeah, that's really cool. When you start getting noticed in the crowd, you get that level of the host high. Really, yeah, I get it. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna do this a couple times. I've walked in here and there's been people at the bar and they're like, "Hey, Jordan," and that's always a nice little. Yes. That's a nice moment. Going from starting the show to your favorite interactions, what's been the hardest thing about doing the show?
My thoughts on what success would look like is actually the hardest thing. So since I've started the show again 6 years ago, I've done over 100 interviews. I do not know how many comic book reviews I've done. I have currently on YouTube something like 265 or 3 followers, 500 on this and that social media. I am understanding I'm not very good at marketing. That's probably why. But my idea of what success would look like was sort of the hardest for a long time, where it was just, should I quit? I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Should I quit? And I really thought about it for a long time. And I don't know. Sometimes I'll have someone say the right thing to me, and all of a sudden it's like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Or the thought of actually doing it. I had a moment where I didn't have any other interviews scheduled. I had nothing announced, and I was just like, I could just stop.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and my partner Vanessa, she turned to me. She's like, "Konrad, it would kill you." And I'm like, she's right. I really think it would. I'm kind of, I don't know. Yeah. I'm just in it.
Well, it comes down. Well, it's like that high, but there's always. It sucks that there's usually the yang to the yang, and then there's imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome gets you hard, and it's a fact. It happens with everyone. I don't care how professional you are. There will be days when it sucks. When it sucks hard. So what's next for the show then?
I don't know.
That's a fair answer.
I will continue doing interviews. I'm actually looking at scheduling something with Omar.
Nice.
Back there.
Don't take my show.
No, not your show. Don't do my show. I think for me, my current white whales are Jeff Lemire and Francis Menable. I want to have them on the show. I've run into Jeff multiple times, and to my devastation, he's always at a show I end up going to, just having not really researched it. So he'll be there, and I'm like, I didn't bring anything for him to sign, but I want to go talk to him and say, hey, I would love to have you on the show. I've emailed him, and he's just like, currently busy, and with his schedule, it sucks. And Francis Menable is just elusive. I can't get a hold of him. I've worked with people who've worked directly with him, and they're like, try this approach, because he's a busy dude.
Yeah.
So I'll work away at it, but until then, I'll interview amazing people and put out content that helps them make their books.
Well, everything I've seen, I've absolutely liked, and it is a great way to introduce newbies to independent content.
Yes.
And I really enjoy watching you. You're very good on camera, and you're a very good host, if no one has told you that before. So now you hear it from me, from one host to another host. Excellent host.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's who you were. You too.
Thank you again, Konrad, for coming in today. I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and make sure that you stick around, because we have lots more coming up right after this. Welcome back. This is a really fun segment, not just because I don't have to do much talking, but what's cool about it is that I get to introduce what I'm about to introduce. I'm Jordan Middlebrook, of course, and you are watching, if I hit that by accident, I'm sorry, and you are watching By The Wayside, a show where I connect you to creativity. And here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario, so they're playing Pokemon Go again. I keep looking up, walking. Pokemon Go. What did you catch? They caught something. Sorry, it's very exciting. Back in February of 2024, the shop owner Omar here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails, he hosted a creator spotlight series where all sorts of people came and show their creative ideas, like artwork, comic books. There's some board games here. I missed the first one. That was on me. So you're going to actually see in this segment Stephanie Cooke and Allison Danger. Two amazing people that were kind enough to talk with me for a short period. So let's see what they have to say. Let's see what I have to say. Let's see what they have to say. Stephanie, through all of your work that you've done over the years, is there one rule that you keep to yourself when creating it that is always has to be applied to your work before it's finished?
A rule. I guess like if there's anything that I kind of keep in mind, it's this that anything that I make, I need to be the biggest fan of first and foremost. I'm not writing for other people. I'm writing for me, and I'm telling stories that I would want to read. That is kind of what I want to keep in mind whenever I'm crafting a story and putting something together and working with a creator. I want to make sure it is something that I would love and want to pick up if I was a kid or a young adult or whatever. Being able to put something into the world that as a kid I might have enjoyed and just got immersed in is like the best. So.
Now, you don't have to answer this honestly, or you don't have to answer this at all. This is mostly for my own edit. Is that, has there ever been a time when someone asked you to work on something that you've turned down because, not because of personal reasons, but more because you didn't click with that idea?
Absolutely. Like unfortunately with like a lot of like comics world, it's like a lot of you putting yourself out there and just like the constant hustle of trying to find projects that you want to work on, editors that you want to work with, and that sort of thing. There's not as many people, I think, kind of clamoring to work with, like, there's just too many people out there to kind of like reach out to everybody. But that being said, like there are occasionally projects that come up, and I can think of one like in the last like little while that I was like really excited to work with this editor, but they gave me a project that just like wasn't for me. Like I read the like kind of like synopsis of it, and as much as I really wanted to be a people pleaser and kind of come on board, I knew I wouldn't be able to put my whole heart into it. And it wasn't something that just like resonated with me. And that's hard. It's really, really hard to say no. But as a creator, you kind of learn what's going to be for you and what's just not. And when you say no to something else that is a better fit will hopefully come along to fill that gap eventually.
There's something really beautiful about being self-aware in your own creative abilities and things that you really like. That as someone who's as well known and as across the board does a lot of amazing work, it's amazing that you're able to know what. I'm just going to say self-aware. It's really nice to be self-aware of something like that.
Yeah, it's hard. Like the instinct when I'm thankfully a full-time freelancer. I edit and write comics full-time. And the instinct to like take work when it comes to you is so strong. It's so hard to say no to things. But as you kind of grow as a creator, it becomes necessary. You don't want to put your name on something that you're not going to be proud of. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that you can kind of learn as a creator and kind of hopefully take to heart. And I wish every creator the ability to pick and choose the projects that make them the happiest.
Mm-hmm. Allison, a lot of your books deal with family, aging, superheroes punching each other. Is there a through line in all of your work that you incorporate, whether intentionally or not intentionally?
Yeah, I mean, comics are designed to have fun, but fun's different for everybody. So some people want to see capes and tights, and that's fun for them, and other people want to walk away and feel something when they read. So that solemn reflection can be fun for people too. The through line in my books is I want people to have fun with them, but it also deals with the idea of mortality, and what it means to live can also be played on by what it means to die. So mortality is the through line in all my books.
Awesome. I really like doing that. One of the cool things about being able to speak to creators is that I meet a really great person. Not once have I ever said to the creator, "Oh, can I interview you?" They go, "No." They're very willing to take a couple of minutes out of their time to answer some stupid question that I have. If you want to be a guest on the show, or you know someone that could potentially be a guest, I want you to reach out. Send a DM or a message. If you come into the shop, find Omar. He's the guy with the hat. And you find a phone number. I dare you. No, don't call anybody. And of course, that's a show. I mean, usually we go for at length. I'll talk about something dumb about how I hate Lord of the Rings, and more recently, I just went on with one of the creators here about how I didn't like Star Wars Rogue One. So that's always a fun take to really bug people, especially Star Wars fans who like Rogue One, me not being one. And I want to thank Konrad, of course, for being here today. I want to thank the creators that allowed me to do an interview with them, to be on this show, to do on the show. I'm going to check my mic again. My mic is working. Quick break.
5430.
I like to see Omar doing his thing. Let's take a look. Hey, Omar.
Yes, sir.
You like comic books?
I do like comic books.
You want to recommend one?
Yes, I do.
Everyone's favorite segment here on By The Wayside is Omar Recommends. A cool graphic probably just popped up when I said Omar Recommends. Every time I say Omar Recommends, I'm going to make that thing pop up. I don't know.
All right.
How's it going, Omar?
It's going all right. How you guys doing? How are you guys doing?
You guys.
You guys.
Us guys. The sexiest people on Main Street, New Market.
That's right. We're bringing sexy beard.
Gotta get t-shirts, Omar. So what are you recommending today?
All right. So today I'm recommending, because the last issue of this series came out, and it really bums me out because I love this series, and I'm really happy because it's been a great ride. I'm going to recommend New Burn by Chip Zdarsky and Jacob Phillips. This book is also edited by Allison O'Toole, very talented Allison O'Toole. I love this book. So I love crime noir fiction, and this hits all my buttons. This is an extraordinarily well-written character study in the crime book. Essentially, the basic premise is Eastern Newburn. He was an ex-cop. He works with the mob. He's kind of a fixer, and he toes his fine line with what he can get away with and what he can't. It's kind of this moment in the world where those walls are very thin and the veneer of like safety is very thin for him. And there is another character in there that kind of tests all that, that's outside of this world, and she's kind of like our perspective. Yeah, he's just a fascinating character. It's a great character study. The dialogue is super witty. The art is wonderful, and it really fits the story very well. If you did the single issues, the covers are all fantastic. Like I said, issue 16 just came out. Play on the original cover for Newburn.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I've enjoyed everything about this book. Like I said, from the covers to the art to the writing to the characters, this is one that's sticking with me. Volume 2 is due out shortly, and trade paperback form. I can't wait till they collect into one big edition. I will be buying, if they ever do an oversized hardcover, I will for sure be buying that as well. But I own this in singles. I own it in collected editions. I will have the other collected edition. I will buy any deluxe collected edition. I like it that much. If you haven't checked it out, please do. Especially if you love crime noir stuff. This is just essential reading.
Awesome. Thanks, Omar. You talked about how New Burn is something that you'll buy like a copy of, a collector's edition of this, of that, anything that has to do with New Burn. I have a thing with Army of Darkness. So if I see a copy of Army of Darkness, I'll buy a VHS copy, a Blu-ray copy. I need to get a Laserdisc copy. I got tons of copies of Army of Darkness. I'm kind of in the same boat here.
Nice.
I got something going on up here. I don't know what it is. But when Omar recommends a comic book, I always like to say right after every single time is, we'll catch you by the wayside. Thanks again, and we'll talk next time. Okay, we'll talk next time.
Catch you by the wayside, everybody. Newburn, keep it in your memory. So good.
Salesperson.
I try, but it's amazing. It really is. I freaking love this book. I have since I read the first issue. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about the covers. The single issues, I want to frame them all. I love Jacob Phillips. He's an incredible artist, especially when he paints. It's unbelievable. Him and Sean Phillips are the two. If you guys ever see this, I want you in my shop. You guys are my bucket list of artists I would love to have for shop. Sean Phillips and Jacob Phillips.
If anyone wants to visit the shop, we're here in Newmarket, Ontario. It's 200 Main Street South. I was going to say east for some reason. It's Wayside Comics and Cocktails here in Newmarket, Ontario. So come and check it out. Right, Omar?
100%. You should definitely come.
There we go. Right, Omar. Okay. We'll talk to you later. See you on the way. Catch you on the wayside.
Catch you by the wayside.
Catch you by the wayside. I don't even know the name of the show anymore.
Catch you by the beard at this point.
Catch you. See you later.